Hi, everybody. I'm Leonard Maltin, and welcome to The Movie Guide. Today, Guy Davis and I will be talking about Jurassic Park.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Movie Guide with Maltin and Davis. I am Brendan Dano of the Four Finger Discount Network, joined right now by Guy Davis.
Hello there, Dando.
And he is back, the Leonard Maltin. How are you?
I'm here. I'm back. I am anxious to be talking movies some more, especially with you, Guy.
Thank you very much, Leonard. It's great to have you back and great to be talking with you.
Same here. I'm in a, I'll call it my sick bed, so I'm getting much better. But I've been out of commission for about a month because of a strange, fluky thing where I got a scratch on my leg and it became infected.
Oh.
And I don't notice things. My daughter said, your foot is all swollen. I said, it is? I called our doctor, and the doctor said, get to the emergency room now. And I did, and I spent 8 fun-filled days in the hospital. And I've spent 3 weeks since then recovering and recuperating at home with my Florence Nightingale, Alice, and my daughter, granddaughter. I'm being well cared for.
Leonard, this is not to downplay any medical conditions you may have been wrestling with recently, but it sounds like you suffer from the condition of being male.
Yes, well, that is certainly true. That is certainly true.
You're feeling a bit indestructible, like we all do.
Yeah,
but,
up to a point.
Indeed, indeed. But we are very, very happy that you took the time to rest, recuperate, get your strength back, and get ready to talk about dinosaurs.
Oh, yes.
And boy, is he. Check out that bedspread he's got behind him.
As this is a temporary setup here, my daughter was determined to get the least expensive, bedding she could for this rental hospital bed. And so this is Target's finest. I don't know the thread count, but it's colorful and it's nice.
I've got the same one. It's worth it.
I was about to say, here we are. I was convinced that you were a mature gentleman who nonetheless was in touch with his inner child.
How little you know me, Guy. How little you know me.
And had prehistoric bed linen. But no, we'll reserve that for Dando, who really does have that kind of thing. Yeah, but Jurassic Park. That's what we're here to talk about. Not just dinosaurs in general, but very specific dinosaurs. Because, well, dinosaurs may be extinct, but the Jurassic Park/World franchise seemingly never will be.
No. And no matter how snarky or outright hostile the reviews seem to be for each new chapter of the saga, people can't stay away. People can't stay away. And my wife and I watched the original Jurassic Park, which we're going to discuss now in some detail, and we were just swept away.
It's great.
Absolutely captivated, as if we'd never seen it before. And I, of course, am the king of the jump scare suckers. So it was just, it was made for people like me and for everybody else, too.
I was about to say, you would have been like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs with this. This is jam-packed with jump scares. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you're right in what you say about, critics do get a little bit snarky about sort of each subsequent iteration of the Jurassic franchise. And it's mainly because Steven Spielberg set the bar so high with this first one. Am I right?
He certainly did. He set it as high as you possibly can. I said to Alice about 10 minutes in, when the story's just ramping up, I said, we're in the hands of a master here, a master filmmaker, which is to say a master manipulator.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not a negative word in this case. He lays the groundwork. He sets everything up so beautifully and so carefully that the payoffs are bound to be exciting, satisfying, sometimes unexpected, and sometimes ironic and even funny.
No, he's the absolute puppet master, Spielberg, and he's sort of working at the peak of his talents here in this regard. Now, yeah, we're talking about Jurassic Park today, the original 1993 film based on the Michael Crichton novel, because Jurassic Park Rebirth, the 7th film in the franchise, has, it's been in cinemas for about a week or close to a fortnight now, by the time this show hits the airwaves. Done very well in its first 5 days, made something like $300 million worldwide. you put the Jurassic name on just about any movie and it tends to do very, very well. But so we thought we'd go back to where it all began.
We have to rewind a little bit and remind people that when this film came out in 1993, the idea of CGI, computer-generated imagery, was still new and still in what I would call an experimental phase. Some exciting things had already been done, but Spielberg, being the guy he is, the master filmmaker he is, he sort of knew that some of it had to look real. Not almost real, not movie real, real. So he turned to Stan Winston, who died much too young, a really interesting, colorful guy. Stan Winston, who had made The Terminator come to life, who had so many incredible credits. A lot of the reason that this movie works is that what the characters are feeling with these dinosaurs breathing on them, being right next to them, is because they really were. They really were. They built full-scale dinosaurs and dinosaur torsos and dinosaur heads, dinosaur tails, and they combined that with stop-motion animation, which was in the hands of another master, Phil Tippett, who grew up watching the silent film The Lost World by Willis O'Brien, the man who made King Kong. So he was weaned on all of this stuff. And the story and the screenplay that David Koepp wrote with Michael Crichton, who was the source novelist, is on, I call it the template of King Kong. It's a template that always works if you do it right. I think Marion Cooper, the co-director and producer of the original King Kong, said, follow the 3Ds. Keep your monster dark, distant, and dangerous. I hope I'm quoting that right. And the approach of the first dinosaur, when Jeff Goldblum is in his vehicle, this is not a spoiler, is 2 plastic cups of water on a dashboard, sitting on a dashboard, and you see them jiggle ever so slightly from the thunderous effect of a dinosaur stomping on the ground, coming closer. What a fantastic way to visually give you the creeps.
It's really a masterclass in building tension and implying a threat, isn't it? Yeah, and Spielberg does that so well. It's almost like he's showing everyone, not just the audiences and the viewers, but even his fellow filmmakers, like, step back for a second. Let me show you how the master does it. And it's almost like he had something to prove, and it's something I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about Spielberg's career at this stage, because, I mean, he's generally regarded as one of the most successful filmmakers in the history of Hollywood, but even he's had his ebbs and flows, his ups and downs, and he was not coming off a bit of a rough patch, but his 90s didn't start all that great. He made a film called, he had a great success in 1989 with Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, but he followed that up with a movie called Always that seems to have been kind of forgotten, even by Spielberg aficionados. That
was a pet project of his.
It was, remake of a film called A Guy Named Joe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who directed that, by the way? Is it William Wyler?
No, I think Victor Fleming.
Victor Fleming. I was going to start throwing out, I was just going to throw out names until you just said, no, you got it right.
It was a 1940s movie with Spencer Tracy and Van Johnson and Irene Dunn. I think Irene Dunn. I should have all this in front of me, but I don't. Anyway, it's a film that he always liked, and he decided he wanted to remake and put it in a modern setting. A sentimental film.
Yes.
And audiences were not attracted to it. And had a good cast, Holly Hunter, Richard Dreyfuss, good director, Lasse Hallström, who made My Life as a Dog and other very good movies. But it just didn't click.
No. Now, his follow-up, Hook, actually did. I mean, Hook made a fair bit of money. I think it made something like $300 million worldwide as well. But I think a lot of people regarded it as kind of insubstantial, maybe a bit gaudy. It has its fans. I think, people who are maybe...
I can't find any offhand, but I'll take your word for it.
I'm sure they exist.
I'm as 90s kid as it gets, and never really liked the film Hook.
So it seemed that when 1993 rolled around, Spielberg was like, as I said, I'm going to show you how it's done. He had one of the great 1-2 punches of all time, if you ask me. I mean, you've got the smash hit of Jurassic Park. I mean, it cost something like $60 million to make and has, to this date, grossed something like $1 billion worldwide. Follows that up with Schindler's List, which was... He'd made adult, quote-unquote, movies before that, but this struck me as... He's working in another gear now. He's really kicked it up a notch. And everyone seemed to agree. Won 7 Oscars, including his first for Best Director. So, but...
He was editing one while shooting the other.
That's right, yeah.
Which is even just staggering to contemplate. Absolutely staggering.
Yeah,
this is a man who has a brain that can hold a lot of information and sort it and file it and utilize it and draw upon it. And any man who has a 1-2 punch like that is not to be underestimated in any way at any time.
But we're talking about Jurassic Park, and it feels like a real return to the crowd-pleasing form that he displayed in his early work, like Jaws and Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, so it's interesting to speculate what actually might have been, though, because this was a very, very hot property. I mean, Michael Crichton was, of course, a best-selling author, but he'd started Jurassic Park apparently as a screenplay, tried to work it out that way, and couldn't quite crack it, so turned it into a novel, which then became the subject of a huge bidding war in Hollywood.
Well, the appeal of it was obvious.
Oh, yeah.
But the execution of it was not so obvious. How would you make this believable? And I think the people who were bidding on it were counting on these newfangled CGI tools to make that happen. But Spielberg was one step, as usual, ahead of everybody else. He said, CGI is fine, we'll make use of it, but it's not the only way we're going to depict these dinosaurs. We're going to make them seem like they're sitting right next to you in the theater practically.
You mentioned earlier about, the combination of cutting-edge CGI, practical effects. Probably the best special effect that this movie has is the actors reacting to the dinosaurs.
And the actors are all not only perfectly cast, but they all deliver. They all deliver exactly what you want from them. And yes, they're reacting to nothing. They're reacting to a ping pong ball or something. I once said that to Tommy Lee Jones, who is a notoriously cantankerous fellow to interview. He said, well, that's what making movies is. He says, if I'm standing on Fifth Avenue, supposedly, looking at some monster, what I'm really looking at is a teamster eating a donut. And I have to just pretend the rest. That's his job.
Classic Tommy Lee. But I think when you think about Jurassic Park, and I'm going to defer to Dando here in a little while because, as I said, he is wearing his Jurassic Park jammies, and he is just a big, big fan of this movie and this franchise. There's a lot of memorable stuff in the original OG Jurassic Park, but the image that I remember the most is Sam Neill getting his first glimpse of is a brontosaurus, right, Dando? Brachiosaurus, I'm sorry. Pulling off the glasses in disbelief, the wide-eyed gaze of just amazement. And he's really he's talking for us, or he's acting for us in that regard, because I think we're going to feel the same way the minute we see that dinosaur as well. But yeah, he's our surrogate, and he's just expressing it so well. And I think that's what you take away from Jurassic Park, that sense of wonder and that sense of amazement, and later that sense of fear. Yeah, because it's about an hour or so into the movie before things really start to get hectic.
It's only about 8 to 10 minutes of actual dinosaurs in the movie, isn't it?
There's not a whole lot. But yeah, the dinosaurs are used very, very sparingly, but very, very effectively.
And the actors make it all seem genuine. There's not a false moment in this movie. And so you got to hand it to Sam Neill, who is so likable, so appealing. And his part could have been played very differently.
Oh, absolutely.
and Laura Dern, every bit his equal, and there's an undercurrent of sexual tension there that they don't overplay. It's just there. She loves him, obviously, and would love to have kids with him. He winds up being fatherly to these two kids that he could live quite happily without on this tour of Jurassic Park. But they make that work too.
They really do. Yeah, I kind of love that curmudgeonly aspect of Alan Grant, the character played by Sam Neill, and how he comes to embrace a sort of more paternal role. But it's a far cry from the very beginning of the movie where he's terrifying this small child with a tale of what a velociraptor will do to you.
And then the ever unpredictable Jeff Goldblum.
I was about to say,
who comes in and sort of writes his own ticket for how he's going to make that character different from whatever it says on the script. That doesn't mean he's making up his lines. That doesn't mean he's not following the program. It means he's being Jeff Goldblum. He's putting a spin on it that is going to be quirky and unique and uniquely his.
You can't undervalue what Jeff Goldblum actually brings to this production, mainly because I was doing a bit of research about this and finding that the people who are developing screenplays for this, I mean, Crichton did a first run at it, thought, I've gone as far as I can with this. You need someone who's a bit better at character to sort of flesh these people out. A lot of the screenwriters who worked on it, they wanted to merge the characters of Alan Grant, played by Sam Neill, and Ian Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum, into one character, because they figured really all that Ian Malcolm is doing is just sort of, he's mouthing exposition, he's loading it up with scientific jargon, he's not that interesting. And then when Spielberg met with Jeff Goldblum, he realized, I've got the perfect actor to actually bring this guy to life, to make him real, not just make him real, make him memorable and make him fun and make him a vital part of the whole thing. This is a bit of a reinvention for Jeff Goldblum as well, I think. I mean, we've all seen that meme, or certainly that image of Ian Malcolm lying on his recovery bed with his shirt
open.
off. Yeah. Jeff's clearly hit the gym. So it remade him as a little bit of a sex symbol, sort of the thinking woman sex symbol. So, cannot be undervalued. But
one complaint I had about this film, not about the film, but about relationships to the film, they never made an action figure for Richard Attenborough. And where would this film be without Richard Attenborough?
They have now.
They have now, I'm told that.
Yes, yeah, because my child, he wanted the old man. He couldn't have his Jurassic Park set without the old man, so he's got the old man.
Well, there had to be the old man, of course. And this is Lord Richard Attenborough by this time.
Oh, yeah.
And a man of great distinction, first as an actor and then as a filmmaker as well in the UK. And Spielberg picked him. Why? Well, watch the performance, then you'll understand why. He takes something that could have been played broadly or even condescendingly. There's so many variations on a character like this, who, after all, is in many ways the villain, of the piece. He's the one who has set all of this in motion.
The best of intentions.
Well, not always the best of intentions.
Yes, property.
I get the feeling he wants to make a buck just like the rest of us.
That's right. That's right.
Apparently in the novel, Hammond, the character of John Hammond, is a lot more sort of conniving and malevolent.
He is. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So
you brought some heart to the character.
Again, it's an astute move by Spielberg, bringing in this rather jolly-looking gentleman. Attenborough's a good enough actor to you can see and sense the steel underneath this sort of jovial figure. And also, he's got that love for his grandchildren, which humanizes him a bit. But he's a villain, but a complicated villain. Yeah,
exactly. Well, again, there's nuance to his character. That's what separates this from a schlocky movie of this sort.
I want to throw the mic over to Dando for a moment, because as we've been alluding to, he's a big Jurassic Park fan, a big Jurassic fan.
I think every kid at the 90s became one.
Yeah. Tell us about the first time you saw it.
We mentioned on our podcast various times, my Uncle Darren, he's the one that introduced me to Star Wars, introduced me to Jaws, introduced me to Jurassic Park. I remember I went at his house and he had the VHS sitting on the shelf and I saw that logo. I remember seeing that logo and going, that's cool. And he goes, yeah, it's Jurassic Park. He goes, want to watch it? Probably shouldn't have watched it because, a bit scary for a 5-6-year-old Brendan Dando, but I watched it and immediately just fell in love because Spielberg, he made this film. It was gruesome moments, but not too gruesome. It was scary at times, but not too scary. And it was loving, but not too loving. It had a perfect combination, such a good blend where anyone over the age of maybe 4, probably people under the age of 4 probably shouldn't watch this, but anyone over that can really enjoy this movie in their own way for various reasons. And I think that's why I just love this movie, because you watch it as a kid, you fall in love with it, because you feel like you're watching real dinosaurs. Guy mentioned before the scene with Alan Grant seeing the Brachiosaurus for the first time. And the performance is so good where you genuinely believe that he's seeing a dinosaur for the first time. Sam Neill is seeing a dinosaur for the first time. And as a result, watching this movie, you think, hey, that I know other movies, they've had dinosaurs, but that's a real dinosaur. These are real.
That's right.
And he made in that one scene, Hammond, Grant, they all made you believe that these dinosaurs, they are actually existing in 1993. You're not watching a movie, you're watching real dinosaurs. And I just think Attenborough's ending to that scene where he just says, "Welcome to Jurassic Park." It's the perfect way to end that moment.
You're right.
Yeah, there's a moment in it that I really, really love. And it's, again, another Sam Neill moment. I'm sort of stepping on the fact that I think he's the MVP of this movie. But he's got a lovely moment. I mean, he's got that iconic moment with the glasses, but he looks down and he sees a whole bunch of, brachiosaurs, and a whole bunch of dinosaurs. But he just has this lovely line reading of like, they do move in herds. It's like everything he's been working on or thinking about his entire life is there in front of him. And everything he's been thinking about is validated. It's such a beautiful moment. It's not necessarily an unexpected moment, but Spielberg's just a master of that, in putting in these little grace notes and things like that. I mentioned earlier about, there are other ways this movie could have gone, other movies this could have been, because, as I said, it was a hot property. You had various studios and various filmmakers sort of attached as packages. You could have had a Tim Burton Jurassic Park. You could have had a Richard Donner one. You could have had a Joe Dante one. This is the one I find most interesting. You could have had a James Cameron one. Apparently, he was very, very close to sort of making his pitch to Michael Crichton to buy the property. I think Spielberg and Crichton had signed their deal maybe just a couple of hours before then. But he wanted to make his version would have been more in the vein of Aliens.
It would have been monsters and not creatures, not animals.
Yes,
the dinosaurs.
which would have been a little too intense for Baby Dando, and maybe too intense for a lot of people. I think you got the flavour balance Spielberg did just right with the scares, the thrills, the spills, but also the wonder. Yeah, so it's something that, as they say, the whole family can enjoy.
And of course, some of it is done more broadly than others. The character played by Wayne Knight, who is kind of the, what do you call him? The
sleazebag.
Comic,
the
comic,
yeah, the
comic relief / villain.
Who you know is going to die.
That's my wife Alice chiming in and with an appropriate remark.
The Siskel to your Ebert.
Right. This is by way of educating a younger generation that when you see a guy who looks and acts like that, he's not going to be around for long. you just know he's asking for trouble, and boy does he get it.
I may be opening myself up for hate here, but when I was watching it, revisiting it yesterday, I was kind of like, Wayne Knight, you could take it down a couple of notches. I know that you're the comic relief villain, but
he's essentially playing Newman in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, he's really going for it.
But Spielberg isn't afraid to do that.
He
isn't afraid to do that in a film that has so much perception and so much subtlety in some areas. Here's a character who's played very broadly, and that's going to appeal to people in the audience who don't appreciate subtlety and nuance.
Well, this was the Jim Carrey era, wasn't it?
True.
That's true. Fun fact, by the way, Jim Carrey apparently auditioned for the role of Ian Malcolm that was eventually taken by Jeff Goldblum. Apparently the people who, the casting agent said, Jim was good, no Jeff Goldblum. So imagine that, though.
I know, it would have been a very different character.
Yeah.
We also get a pre-Pulp Fiction Sam Jackson in this movie.
Yes, doing superb character work with a lot of jargon that he has to spew as if it's a second nature to him. And he does.
And as if you wanted any further proof that this movie took place in 1993, a lot of smoking indoors.
A lot of smoking indoors. and an all Caucasian cast of principal characters, which today would be more diverse. Let's face it, but the film is so good
Oh yeah.
in every possible way. I can't think of a critique, anything to mar that feeling of this is about as good as it gets.
This movie, to me, it's about a theme park, right? Jurassic Park is a theme park. I feel like this movie plays and plays out like you're on a theme park ride. It's almost like going on a roller coaster. It feels, that's why I think as a child you're watching it, it's almost like you're going on a Jurassic Park ride watching this movie.
Yeah, you're very slowly going up that first incline on the roller coaster, and then all of a sudden, what? It really is the gift that keeps on giving, Jurassic Park. So should it have kept on giving? We, as I said, we're up to the 7th movie in the franchise. It's kind of the law of diminishing returns in some ways, although I think they all have their high points and their low points. Are there any Jurassic Park sequels that we really enjoy, that we feel live up to the original in any way?
I saw them all one by one. Jurassic Park 2 was pretty good. Spielberg made it himself.
Yeah.
He didn't, give it to a secondary figure to carry out, and he's got the original stars, and I remember it being pretty entertaining. Not great, but pretty entertaining. Jurassic Park 3, about the same, and I know that he hired Alexander Payne and Jim Taylor, who are hot off of their success with films like Sideways and About Schmidt, to do some rewrite polish on it. So a lot of the character stuff at the beginning of the film is theirs. After that, I sort of shrug. But I get taken in, and as the king of the jump scare, patsies, I react every single time to every single rattle and every single hint of a possibility that something's going to come out at me.
I think in the newer films, they rely too much on the CGI factor. And I think for me personally, it takes away the bit of the wonder. As you're touching earlier, when you can see that these dinosaurs are in the shot with the actors, it has so much more impact.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, Spielberg really wrote the playbook, and you've had a bunch of other directors sort of following that to varying degrees of success. I've got a lot of time for Jurassic Park 3. I think, that script writing punch-up that you alluded to from Payne and Taylor really, really works. But it's directed by Joe Johnston, who's sort of
he's a good
veteran
director.
He's a really good director, yeah. He's got, the first Captain America film under his belt, Jumanji, The Rocketeer, a bunch of movies like that. And I think he handles it really well. It's got like a bit of a pulpy B-movie energy that I really respond to.
Mm-hmm. If you're a credit reader, as I'm a compulsive credit reader, as the names go by, see how many puppeteers are credited. Puppeteers. That's because they were manipulating those real-life, life-sized dragon, what do you call them? Not remnants, dragon body parts, which is why when they seem to be breathing, they are breathing. When they seem to be wrinkling their brow, they are wrinkling their brow.
I watched a documentary last night on Jurassic Park on the 4K, and Spielberg made sure that everyone in that Triceratops, the unwell Triceratops scene, everyone who was controlling the dinosaur you couldn't see them. So the actors walked in, and it was just this dinosaur that they felt was alive because they couldn't see any cords, they couldn't see any people moving joysticks around. It was just a dinosaur that was breathing, its eye was twitching, and I think that's just a genius move as well.
Well, he knows how to do it.
Yeah, I think any good filmmaker is going to realise that you need a combination of CG and more practical stuff. You need something tactile it helps the actors work better, and I think audiences, maybe audience of a certain age, sort of respond better to it as well. It's something I felt watching Jurassic World Rebirth, the latest in the franchise, the other day. I feel like we've kind of reached spectacle overload. We expect sort of peak A-list special effects these days. And so if we're going to regain that sense of wonder, we're not going to get it from saying, oh, wow, okay, that's a dinosaur. I've come to expect that now. What you need is really, really good actors creating characters that you're afraid will get eaten, that you will end up in the stomach of a T-Rex.
When J.J. Abrams got a shot at the Star Wars franchise, he did as many they call them practical effects when they're actually shot on the stage at the same time as the actors are giving their performances. And that was his nod to the original trilogy and to the trying to capture that feeling of this is not fake. Yeah. This is not people with joysticks, as you say, just manipulating computers.
Yeah.
Well, if they could do it in 1993, why can't they do it 30 plus years later?
They could if they chose to.
Let's talk about our most valuable player of Jurassic Park. Is there someone who really stands out to you in this movie?
Well, they're all so good.
Yeah.
They really are all so good. But I think because he makes the least fuss, I'm going to say Sam Neill. Sam Neill has nothing to prove. And it's still true today. He's still the same wonderful actor he's always been. And he's still working, thank goodness.
He is, yeah.
And looks the same. He's aged incredibly well.
He is a silver fox, second only to one Leonard Maltin, I would say.
Apparently, he is the same age in Jurassic World Dominion from 3 years ago as Richard Attenborough was in the original Jurassic Park.
Holy moly. I want to give a little love to an actor who sadly is no longer with us, but I think he made a really, really great impression in Jurassic Park. He's an actor named Bob Peck from the UK. Mm-hmm. He plays Muldoon, the resident big game hunter / security expert at Jurassic Park. Not a flashy performance, but very much just in keeping with the tone and the style of the film, and just doing great work in terms of this guy seems unflappable and kind of invincible, and if he's worried about these dinosaurs, maybe you should be too. It's a key role, and I just love what he does with it. And he has just a wonderful iconic line that we have repurposed many times in our podcast. What does he say, Nando?
Clever girl.
Clever girl.
He's also a character that I think this movie needed characters that you wanted to be eaten by dinosaurs, because you don't want Alan Grant to be eaten. You don't want Laura Dern's character, but you need characters like him where you go, well, I want to see a dinosaur eat somebody.
It's the dirty little secret, isn't it? I'm saying, oh, look, we need characters that we care about and empathize with. We also want to see that lawyer just get sitting on the toilet and getting eaten. That was my real sort of moment when I first saw it back in 1993. That was the moment when I realized, oh, we've kicked it into an upper gear here. This is upper echelon stuff.
If you could have had a recording instrument or microphone in every theater around the globe at that moment, you would have heard such a cacophony of shrieks.
It's funny, when I showed my son this movie for the first time about 2 years ago, he would have been 5, I think. And I thought, what I'll do is I'll put it on, and every time there's a scary bit with someone, like when Sam Jackson's arm's on Laura Dern's shoulder, things like, I'll skip it. I'll make sure he's not looking. And I thought, I'll skip the Needrew bit, that kind of thing, and when Clever Girl, I'll skip that scene. And then I put on the T-Rex scene. I thought, well, no one gets eaten here. And then all of a sudden, the lawyer's on the toilet. And I went, oh no, where's the remote? Where's the remote? And then, too late, grabbed him. And my son just turned to me and he goes, I think he's dead. I went, yeah, he's dead, buddy.
I hate to break it to you. Tough break to that lawyer.
He goes, should I have seen that bit? I go, don't tell Mum. Do not tell Mum. But he just has this, he immediately fell in love with it. It would have been 30 plus years later. He's 5 years old, and he fell in love with it just as the same way I did back in 1993.
Yeah, no, this is a film that's going to be around and cherished for a long, long time.
Yeah, it really set the bar pretty high.
Oh, but people are always going to want new dinosaur toys, aren't they?
Dinosaurs never going out of fashion.
Apparently.
Yeah, that's the thing. They'll keep making these movies because I tell you what, they probably make just as much money from the merchandise as they do from the actual box office.
I wouldn't doubt that.
Well, I mean, we talk about the mastery of the filmmaking. Let's talk about mastery of marketing. I mean, they spent pretty much as much on the marketing campaign as they did on the actual movie. I think it was a $60 million budget and a $60 million marketing budget. But of course, you do see that dinosaur skull logo everywhere. It's pretty much like the Nike swoosh.
There's even a shot late in the film of what I think is the gift shop.
Yes.
Of the Jurassic Park, and it's sort of a meta moment in the movie, predicting what's about to happen in 2 hours when you leave the theater.
Just the choice of colors as well. For some reason, the yellow, red, and black just works. I don't know how long they had to sit down and decide what color is the logo going to be, but the colors they went with just work.
Right. Oh, we haven't mentioned someone very important to the success of this movie.
John Williams?
John Williams.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
John Williams and Steven Spielberg have had an almost unbroken half-century partnership, and Spielberg never hesitates to give John Williams credit for a lot of his film's success. And he says that, they say you write a film 3 times. You write the screenplay, and then it gets massaged and rewritten in the actual execution, and then it gets massaged and rewritten in the editing room. And then it goes to the composer. There are variations on this, but that's the general run of things. And John Williams always seems to find exactly the right emotional tone to set for a film in general and for specific scenes. You may not be aware of it at the moment that you're watching the film the first time through, but when you hear that main theme for Jurassic Park, it gets you because you know what you're listening to.
Well, there's a track that's called Journey to the Island, and that's where you hear all the main Jurassic Park music on the soundtrack. And my kids always want to listen to that in the car. They listen to movie soundtracks all the time because of me, obviously. But my wife, she's not the biggest movie buff. She came and watched Rebirth with me, but she's not a dinosaur person. She's not really a movie person. Whenever I remember the first time I put that on in the car, my wife turned to me and she goes, "This music just gives you goosebumps, doesn't it?" I go, "It really does. It really does. It just makes you feel like you're there."
Yeah.
And it's the kind of music that you can't imagine any variation on it. It's like, oh, this is just right and just right for this particular project.
Right, exactly. Oh, I haven't mentioned the fact that the film actually makes a verbal reference to King Kong.
Oh, yes.
And it's just when Jeff Goldblum is being driven through to the massive gates that welcome you to the theme park that is Jurassic Park in the movie, which those tall doorways are reminiscent of Skull Island in the 1933 film King Kong. And King Kong, which was not the first movie to do stop-motion dinosaurs, that was The Lost World, in 1926. But the man named Willis O'Brien, who is revered by buffs, by aficionados of this kind of fantasy filmmaking, he was the one who first animated cavemen and dinosaurs in the teens, in the silent film era. You can go online and find these films, these short films, and then was called on to bring them to a fuller realization in a film called The Lost World, based on a novel by Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes. And that film and that novel set the stage for King Kong to follow, which is to say, we're going to a remote place, we're going to discover these prehistoric creatures, and we're going to bring them back. We're foolishly going to bring them back to civilization, come what may. And then what follows, of course, is havoc.
Indeed. Over a century plus of cinema, it's one formula that never, ever fails. 5-word formula: scared humans flee hungry beasts.
Yeah. In their environment.
True.
Not the beast's environment.
Yeah. Is this the first film to have Spielberg, Williams, Tippett, and Winston attached to it?
It's a good question.
Because that there explains why the movie's so great. You've got the icons, not the word icons, but the legends of each field.
Right, and Dennis Muren also, the other great visual effects man. Yeah,
yeah, the great cinematographer Dean Cundy, who'd worked on Back to the Future and a lot of John Carpenter movies, shoots it beautifully. His longtime editor Michael Kahn. It's the dream team. It's the dream team of A-list talent, all working together in perfect harmony to create one of the great adventure / monster / scary / thrilling movies of, shall we say all time? Shall we give a little qualifier, say the last half century? Yeah. Let's say all time. It's an all-timer. It's Jurassic Park. Now, we could do a double feature with this.
No.
There are many movies you could bear it well with, but it sits perfectly well by itself. So, time for a variation. In lieu of a double feature, Leonard, Dando, quick, name your favourite dinosaur.
It's Triceratops.
Leonard, you got one?
Favorite. Define favorite in this context.
The one that's least scary.
Oh, yeah. The one that would make you pull up your shades a la Sam Neill.
Don't go T-Rex. That's the cliche. I nearly said T-Rex. No, I'm not going to go T-Rex. That's the obvious one.
No, and Velociraptors, not warm and cuddly in any way, shape, or
Well,
form.
they're actually just big chickens with feathers, but Spielberg decided that doesn't look scary enough.
No.
So
Yeah, that little kid at the start was actually onto something. Yeah, it sounds like a big turkey or a big chicken.
yeah, that's probably one negative of this movie. We'll touch on it in a minute. But yeah, Leonard, what's your favorite dinosaur?
I like the ones toward the end that Sam Neill and the kids come upon as they're fleeing together like a flock of birds.
Gallimimus.
I like them.
But I feel like one negative of this movie is, from a history perspective, is so many kids now think that that's what velociraptors look like. So many people now think that Dilophosauruses have the frill neck when they didn't actually have that. Spielberg was a genius in the sense of he goes...
Don't get your information on history from the movies.
Exactly
I
right,
say it
yes.
time and time again.
Yeah.
Even the ones that say based on a true story, no matter how much they claim, research they did, don't get your information from the movies. Get your entertainment from the movies.
I wonder what actual dinosaur enthusiasts thought about the movie from that regard. In that regard, would they have been put off and annoyed and bothered by that, or would they just have gone, you know what, it's just a movie, just go with it? What do you think they would have had? What mindset?
I think it depends on the kind of person you would ask. Someone who was a prig, would say, well, they had this creature didn't exist at this time, and someone who gets it would say they took some dramatic license.
That's the thing. Hopefully it's going to pique someone's interest enough, and maybe you catch them at a young age or an impressionable age or whatever. It's like, I think dinosaurs are my thing now, and I think I'm going to do every
Go
bit
to
of
the
research
Museum
I
of
can.
Natural History and learn it that way.
That's correct, yeah. And if you did that, by the way, let me put on my nitpicking hat for a moment. Did you know that the Brachiosaurus and the Dilophosaurus, I believe that's how you pronounce it?
Dilophosaurus, yeah.
Yes. They are the only ones that actually existed during the Jurassic period. All these other dinosaurs, Cretaceous. The more you know.
We don't care.
Well, there actually is a TV spin-off, I believe, on Netflix called Jurassic Park Camp Cretaceous. So
Yeah, there is. Kids love it.
Yeah, they're trying to correct the record in some way, but yeah, I think Jurassic Park sounds a little better than Cretaceous.
But in saying that, though, this is John Hammond's baby. What sells better? Jurassic Park sounds better, and he's making the dinosaurs. He doesn't care what period they're from. He's just going to throw the dinosaurs in there, isn't he?
I think he did a bit of an ass-covering thing by it's like, okay, we'll throw in the Brachiosaurus just so we can call it Jurassic Park.
But I think the Brachiosaurus is arguably, besides the T-Rex, the most important dinosaur of the movie.
Explain how.
Well, I suppose that's now with the long-term payoff of the of it dying in the second of the new Jurassic World movies, but it's the one that we fall in love with first. It's the one that Alan Grant sees and he falls in love and he goes, these are real dinosaurs. He's actually done it. As Malcolm says, the crazy son of a bitch, he's done it. This is real. And I think because of that, we always have that love for that dinosaur. That's the first one we see.
It imprints on us and it instills in us a sense of wonder. You're right.
Yeah. But also we get the moment later on where it sneezes on, is it Lex? Yeah, Lex is in the tree and things like that. But you touched on earlier, Leonard, Richard Attenborough in this movie, right? And you've given him his credit. But I think one of the understated stories of this movie is the tragedy of the John Hammond character. He is so enthusiastic at the beginning of this film. He thinks he's bringing wonder to the world. People are going to love it. Obviously, he's going to profit from it, but he's going to bring so much joy. And in particular, I love his delivery, Richard, of when he's announcing that we have a T-Rex. And Sattler turns to him and she goes, did you say T-Rex? And he goes, we have a T-Rex. He's very jolly. He's so jolly and excited. Yes, we've done it. He's so excited to tell these paleontologists, I've managed to bring these dinosaurs back to real life. And then as the movie progresses, he slowly realizes, oh, what have I done here? I should not have done this. He was only sitting there eating the ice cream, spared no expense. And then at the end, he's just sitting in the helicopter, looking over. He's disheveled. He's a broken man looking at his cane.
Well, I don't see him as tragic. I see him as a flawed.
He's this billionaire tycoon. He's clearly, if you're going to reach that level of power and status and fortune, you probably crack some skulls along the way, either literally or metaphorically. But he's also a showman. He's an impresario. I mean, he's got that lovely sort of twinkle in his eye and that joy in his voice.
He does the show himself, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's really all for that. But he's also talking about my first venture was a flea circus, and talking about how. Yeah, the seesaw moved up and down, and people wanted to believe. They wanted to believe that fleas were doing this. Yeah, he's a showman. He's not unlike Spielberg in that regard.
You're right.
One sea plant that I never really noticed until I was much older was they're on their way to the island, and Alan Grant gets the seatbelts, and there's two female ones. and he's trying to connect them, and he can't. And all of a sudden, he just ties them together because he found a way. Just like all the dinosaurs on the island were all female, but they found a way to reproduce.
He does a workaround.
To quote Jeff Goldblum, life finds a way.
Exactly right. Yes. So you think he's more of a flawed character, Leonard?
Yeah, I do, because he dreams big, and he has a grandiose vision for what would be in real life, or even in the fantasy world that they paint for us here, a hell of an attraction. But he's stubborn, and he does not care to be told about the downside. He doesn't want to know.
Until it unfolds before him. Yeah. There is a sense of arrogance too, thinking he can play God, I guess, isn't there?
Well, plus there's an arrogance as well, and he's sort of getting these guys on board to rubber stamp this project. You know, I mean, the main reason that Sam Neill and Laura Dern and Jeff Goldblum are there is because the investors want, I guess, approval from quote-unquote experts.
They want the good housekeeping seal of approval, as we used to say.
The lawyers are breathing down his neck in the book.
Yes.
They're going to Alan Grant and saying, because he's funding all their projects, the paleontologist projects. So basically, it's just, why is he funding all this? What's he up to? That's what
so there's a degree of ruthlessness and a bit of manipulation in there. And I think he's also banking on, if I show these people who are very, very interested in dinosaurs, who have made it their life's work, if I show them a real one, they'll be so dazzled that they'll instantly just like, okay, green light, go ahead, do whatever you like. So, it's some interesting character development, character work in that regard. There's a lot more going on under the hood than you might expect, mainly because it's such a great thrill ride. It's such a wonderful extravaganza that you might not necessarily think of it as empty calorie stuff, but it's like, this is really high-end popcorn fare. No, there's a bit going on underneath.
Yeah, there is.
Can we touch on Martin Ferrero as well as the lawyer? I feel like he is the representation of the executives at Universal. The first time they saw the rough cut of this film, we're going to make a fortune with this film.
Well, my wife and I had the experience of watching Universal build something that they now called City Walk, which is their little, they're not so little anymore. It started off as kind of an outdoor mall with some shops and an 18-screen theater, and we used to drive up and park right alongside the opening of the theater. And then they said, "Oh, people are coming, huh? All right, we're going to make more of this and more of this." And now it's a world-class theme park. And one day we saw Lou Wasserman, who was the
head honcho,
the capo of Hollywood, the man who'd built Music Corporation of America, MCA, into a giant success as an entertainment company with fingers in many pies. And we saw him enjoying the fruits of his success, showing some people around. And he, of course, and Sid Sheinberg, then ran Universal's movie studio division, they were the ones who opened the door for Steven Spielberg and his career.
Yeah, they've had a good, long, productive relationship, haven't they, Spielberg and Universal?
Yes. And Mrs. Sheinberg, a.k.a. Lorraine Gary, is one of the supporting players in Jaws.
Yeah.
No flies on Steve. Knows how to play the game. One of my favourite stories about Spielberg, I'm not sure if this is print the legend stuff, but when he was a kid looking to break into the industry, he basically snuck onto the Universal lot, found an empty office, and sort of set up shop there. Made himself at home. It's like
that's the legend. And as John Ford famously said, when the facts become legend, print the legend.
Absolutely. Speaking of legends, Jurassic Park.
Yes,
legendary movie.
Are you going to see Rebirth, Leonard, or are you Jurassic out by this point?
No, I'm curious. I'm curious to see what they've done.
Because Guy wasn't a huge fan. I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not saying it's the greatest movie of all time, but I probably enjoyed it. The most enjoyable Jurassic movie since number 3 for me personally. I think it felt more like Jurassic Park 3. I didn't really like what they did with the Jurassic World franchise. I know this is called Jurassic World Rebirth, but I'm just I'm not really a huge fan of the Chris Pratt era of the Jurassic Park franchise, but I really enjoyed it. But I guess it just depends on your nostalgia for the film, maybe. I don't know.
That could have something to do with it. From what I understand from behind the scenes, this is a project that Universal wanted to turn around pretty quickly. They brought on director Gareth Edwards, best known for Rogue One, Godzilla. He's very adept with technical effects, and he's able to sort of work very well with CGI and all that kind of stuff. So he got it done on time, got it into cinemas. It's doing well. He's very good at technical stuff. I don't know he's all that good at human stuff. I didn't really sort of have any connection with any of these characters. I would have been happy if they'd all been eaten. It probably would have been a more entertaining movie if more of them had. But look, to each their own.
Well, I was watching my wife, who I said isn't a big movie buff, not a big Jurassic Park fan. I was watching her, and she was really enjoying it, and she was laughing at the dialogue. And I'm thinking maybe this is just a film more for the casual Jurassic Park fan as opposed to the hardcore fans. But anyway, I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on it when you finally do see it, Leonard.
I will not be shy in telling you.
I want to hear you two gentlemen just tear it to shreds if you both don't like. I think that'll be a fun yarn.
Oh, well.
Indeed.
I don't go in gunning for a movie, Dando. I have to tell you, I really don't. Why would I want to go in and spend my now whatever $15 or $20 and devote an evening of my life that I'll never get back to a film that's no good?
Well, I think there's this thing called hate watching has now become a thing online. A lot of YouTube reviewers.
There's a lot of things online too, which is why I'm not online very much.
Yeah, they watch to hate.
Anti-social media. I'd rather wait and see something I want to see, whether it's on the big screen or on my home television screen.
I think Leonard and I, and maybe you, Dano, have a very old school attitude called glass half full.
Yeah.
Having said that, if you don't like it, Leonard, we will rip into it like a couple of hungry, angry velociraptors.
I call him as I see him.
We would expect nothing less.
Alrighty, everybody. Well, thank you for listening to our review of Jurassic Park. Hope you did enjoy it. Don't forget to continue to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you are listening to the show. Thank you for sticking with us over the past month. We know we've been away, but for good reasons. But we're back now, here each and every week in your ears. Also, if you can support the show on Patreon, that would be much appreciated as well. Link for that is in the description of this podcast. But for now, Guy, thanks for joining us.
Welcome to the Movie Guide.
Thank you, the Leonard Maltin.
Happy to be here.
And we will catch you all in the next episode of The Movie Guide with Maltin and Davis.
Aloha.
Adios.